Hi there, I'm Will Jones. I'm Chief Executive of the charity brainstrust. We're a charity that helps people live life after a brain tumour diagnosis. And today I am with Jack Jarvis, former British soldier, world record holder, and quite possibly the most determined and inspiring person I've ever met. In 2022, Jack became the first person in history to row solo, unsupported, from mainland Europe to the mainland America. It was 111 days alone at sea in a small rowing boat. He's since rowed from New York to the UK, crossed the Atacama Desert, and earlier this year ran the London Marathon in 3 hours 29 minutes with 12 hours notice. This July, he's going to attempt to run 13,000 kilometres from Beijing in China to Trafalgar Square in London. Jack's aiming to raise a significant sum, £1 million, for brainstrust's work. That money will help us double the support we provide to people living with a brain tumour. We're hoping to grow from being able to help about 5,000 people a year at the moment, today, to 10,000 in the years ahead. That's double the number of coaching hours, double the number of brain boxes, double the number of people able to find us sooner on their journey. At the moment, too many people are telling us, I wish we found you sooner, and it hurts. Jack's fundraising is going to help us address that so that more people are better connected, better informed, more confident, and more in control on their brain tumour journey. Every step Jack takes is helping us towards that goal of doubling our help. Jack, welcome.
You all right, Will? How's it going?
Yeah, good to see you.
I don't know why we just shook hands then, because we did it a second ago. I just panicked and didn't know what to do. Yeah, mate, it's brilliant to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me up to Leeds. Looking forward to having this conversation and telling everyone what I'm up to and why I'm raising money for brainstrust.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming. Great
easy.
to have you too. Great to have you here too. Look, you've made a huge effort to come up here. If you weren't here in Leeds, what would you be doing today?
I'd either be renovating my house, which is the thing that is spiking my cortisol levels the most at the minute, and that's crazy because like I said, next month I'm running from Beijing to London, but it's quite nice. It's given me an opportunity to think about something else apart from that 8-10-month beast that I've got taken on. So yeah, me and my girlfriend are renovating a house. So if I wasn't here, I'd be doing that, and if I wasn't doing that, I'll be training for my run next month.
I've got a little game for you.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Right.
Let me wet the whistle first.
Wet the whistle. You've got 30 seconds. And I want to test how well you know your route.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
How many of the 18 countries that you're running through can you name in 30 seconds? On your marks.
Get set, go. Right.
Get set, go.
China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, ferry across the Caspian Sea into Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, Bulgaria. Bulgaria, Bosnia, or Bosnia, Serbia. No, Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, France, England.
17.
No, what did I miss?
Greece.
Ah! It's always Greece.
It's always Greece.
Oh.
Are there any that you're particularly looking forward to seeing?
Not Greece.
Not Greece.
No. Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to all of them. I love travel.
I can't get my head around the scale of this challenge. It's a 12-hour flight to Beijing, and it's 8 months?
Yeah, 8
to run back.
months. Yeah. It's a biggie. So what I'll do is So with the visa situation in China, I basically need to start running as soon as I get there because I've only got a 90-day visa. Yeah. So what I will do is I'll fly to Indonesia first. Reason being because, yes, it's still a 7-hour flight to Beijing from Jakarta, but it's on a 2-hour time difference from China. So instead of a 12-hour flight and a 9-hour time difference and then landing and then being like, right, go and crack a 50K tomorrow, I'll be in the time zone. It'll be nice and hot, humid, so I can start to acclimatise. And then as soon as my van gets there, I'm good to go from Tiananmen Square to Trafalgar Square.
So back to the top then.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everyone listening understands what you're actually about to do in your own words. What is this challenge?
The longest run home ever, you could probably call it. Tiananmen Square, Trafalgar Square, Beijing, London, 13,000 kilometers, 18 countries, 2 continents, 50K a day, every day. Where am I going to be sleeping? I've converted my Ford Transit van that left this week. That is currently on a big car transporter to Tianjin, which is the port city of Beijing. So I'll be eating, living, sleeping in the van, and then every morning I'll get up and run 50 kilometers until I make it back to
So,
London.
what season? Is it gonna be summer over there?
Peak summer, yeah.
Peak summer.
Yeah.
And when you get to the
Because it wasn't
desert?
hard enough, Will. I
No.
wanted to, like I said, people are donating, times are tough.
Yeah.
And I want to earn their hard earned money for a great cause and
And,
make their sponsorship donation worth it.
yeah, brilliant. And aiming to be back in Trafalgar Square
May,
May.
April, May time next year. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think there's something important that we've missed as well, Jack. Um, Talking about resilience
Mm.
and I suppose inspiring achievements. We've not covered the fact that 3 years ago you basically fell out of an aeroplane
Yeah.
and you could you walk at that point?
No, I couldn't walk. I was just in a heap on the Salisbury countryside. So, yeah, uh, another reason the run and why I want to do things like that is because, like you said, on the 17th of May, 2023, I was still in the military this time, and we were skydiving in Salisbury. Jumped out the aircraft. It was my 26th solo jump. My friend Dean and I were doing some maneuvers. 14,000 feet, get down to about 5,000 feet. We both steer away from each other and go to deploy our parachute. And as I deployed my parachute, wrapped around my leg, graunched it up in front of my face. So I'm now the wrong way up. My patella, so my kneecap and my foot are at 180 degrees to each other. Crack, bang. It almost sounded like rifle fire on the range. That was the sound of my ligaments snapping. I then had to fight to get my leg out of the lines. I was probably at about 3,000 feet now. I remember saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. To compound my problems at that moment, my parachute had sort of half inflated. So it started to spin. And obviously, people, if they've got an interest in science, it's centrifugal force, all right, as it spins, it starts slow and it gets faster and faster and faster. And I'm thinking, God, can I not catch a break? So I'm ripping, pulling at the lines. All of a sudden, leg flops out, parachute fully inflates, stops spinning. Absolutely ecstatic at this point because I knew I was going to live. Because if I hadn't got my leg out, I would have landed back or head first. So even in that moment, I knew that meant probably death or being paralyzed. Got my leg out, it was about 2,000 feet. Then I had to fly the parachute. Luckily, there was no damage when I pulled my steering lines. They were responsive. And then I'm coming in 2,000, 1,500, 250, 200, 100. And I'm like that. Pull my, flare my parachute, land one-legged, hit the floor. My friends come over, help me. Ambulance turns up, air ambulance, rush to hospital. And the doctor said to me, he was like, you've effectively internally amputated your leg.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a bad injury. Um, and like I said, used those lessons I'd learned from an early age, my granddad being in the military, that resilience that I'd learned on the Atlantic Ocean. It took me about 18 months to rehab. So
Wow, that's quite the comeback.
yeah,
So I just think for context, just briefly, could you touch on the event that you won? Is it the Mackyard?
yeah. So let's go back from my injury. So injured May
Yeah.
23, and then 18 months to sort of get back to running. Did a few ultras the back end of 24, like 40 milers, 50-kilometer races. And then I was like, right, I need to do something else. And really randomly, I have a friend that charters ocean rowing boats, right? So if you want to row an ocean, you go see my friend Chris Martin, not the lead singer of Coldplay, and he will charter you an ocean rowing boat. And he lent this ocean rowing boat to a group of lads, and 4 days into their crossing, for whatever reason, they abandoned ship. So this boat's now crossing the Atlantic. He was like, right, why don't we go out and get it? And I said, well, who's going to row it back? He was like, oh, I don't really know. I said, right, well, why don't I come out with you? We'll fix it up. We'll row it to New York. We'll row it from the Bahamas to Florida. We'll ship it to New York and then we'll row it back.
I think it's easy for people to set ambitious goals coming out of something difficult.
Yeah.
And I just wanted everyone that's listening or watching to understand that, well, I'll ask you the question. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you never feel truly ready for these big endurance events, having done, the ultra marathons and even the ultra marathons. I remember being at the start line of the 100 miler I did in January, the Arc of Attrition, um, available now on my YouTube channel if you haven't watched it already. I remember being like, "Phew," but as soon as that start whistle goes, you are in it. And
Yeah.
it's the same when you row the Atlantic. I mean, it takes a tiny little bit longer with the Atlantic. It's normally when you can see land and you're like, we can probably still turn back. We can probably still turn back. Well, once that land disappears, you're just like, right, I'm in it. So yeah, I'm still a little bit nervous. I'm not this person that looks at fear in the eye, looks at fear in the face and laughs. I do get scared. I get nervous. I get anxious, just like everyone. But I'm pretty good at overcoming those. So yeah, yes, I feel ready, but don't worry. There's still a few pre-match nerves.
So
For
what does a day look like? So there's the 3 a.m. alarm.
3
Let's
a.m.
go.
alarm. Let's go. Do you know what's funny as well? You obviously say the reel off the 13,000 kilometers,
Yeah.
18 countries, the hottest temperature ever recorded in the Gobi Desert, 50K a day. It's almost like a big action film, isn't it? But in these big endurance challenges, it's pretty mundane, the day-to-day stuff. And you want it. If something exciting happened, Will, that's normally danger, you know, potential kidnapping, robbed, injury. I don't want too much danger. I like it mundane. So yeah, 3 a.m. alarm goes off. Wake up, have my breakfast, something like an overnight oats. It's something I find quite easy to eat at that time. Out, a little bit of activation, stretching. Nothing too crazy because I won't be running really fast. It's always important to warm up, of course, but we're not doing any like high intensity sprints. So get up, start running, probably run for maybe 3 hours, nice relaxed pace, meet up with the van, meet up with Tommy, have a little bite to eat. I'll probably eat and walk. I don't like to stop when I'm running. That's what made the backyard so interesting because you have to stop every hour for like 10 minutes. So yeah, keep walking, few light bites, another 3, 4 hours, and then meet up with Tommy. And then recovery is super important. So calories expended. You need to get those calories back in.
Could you put a number on that?
Probably similar to the row, so maybe 7,000 calories a day, I would say. Yeah, because you burn just normal adult male
Yeah.
function, they say, isn't it? It's 2,500 calories. So add that on top of 50 kilometers. It'll be
You're
interesting.
gonna
I'm gonna have some interesting Strava stats, aren't I, on the calories burned?
I'm just
We should do a
thinking,
sweepstake for that, shouldn't we?
I suppose
Add up the amount of calories that I've burnt over the whole trip.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be a big number, but I'm also thinking, when you're in the desert, carrying enough food to
Mm.
keep you, Tommy, the team going,
Yeah.
it's a big van, right?
Yeah, it's a big van, yeah.
So
It's gonna be interesting, and it's one of the logistical challenges that we face. Those long open China's massive. I will spend 3 months in China, and I'll be running 50 kilometers a day. So, yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. I don't know if I'm looking forward to the logistic challenge, probably the wrong word, but it's gonna be interesting to see how we deal with it.
can we come back to your granddad?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was never lucky enough to meet him, but I sense, I hear, I see, when we talk that he was such an important person in your life and a real motivation for these challenges and for getting behind our work at Brains
Mm.
Trust. Tell me about him. Who was he?
He was just a really nice man, life and soul of the party, pub landlord. So everyone knew him in the
Was
village,
that in Hamble?
and that was in Hamble, yeah, just outside Southampton.
Look, a difficult question, right? But
Mm.
if this takes you to places you don't want to go, that's
Yeah, it's fine.
Can you recall what he was going through with his diagnosis? Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I do. So he started having seizures, and I remember they were like, "Oh, you're dehydrated. You need to drink more water." Um, and my mum says she thinks Grandad knew he was ill before that, but like men do, sort of buried his head in the sand.
Particularly that
Yeah,
generation,
for
right?
sure. I remember obviously my granddad went to see his doctor. He said, "Shall I stop drinking and smoking?" And just the doctor went, "Mate," well, probably didn't say mate, said, "There's no point."
Yeah.
And that just shows this is going to kill you, though. And so I think the surgery is to just prolong his life. Um, So yeah, he had the surgery, and then 2 years he deteriorated over those 2 years. Went to see him in the hospice. He actually went to the hospice and then got taken out because he got a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not that, you know it's he's not gonna live for long, but it was nice that he got to it was funny as well. Not funny, but just nice because they were like, "This has never happened before. No one's come into the hospice, got a little bit better," because the hospice is where people go to die. So yeah, he come out for a bit. I remember seeing him at home a little bit, and then he passed away. And I don't, again, I don't sit here and beat myself up, but I always feel like, should I have gone and seen him more and things like that. And I say that to my mum and my grandma, and they're like, Jack, we're 13, you're going to school and things like that. But it's just something that sits in the back of my mind. So maybe part of the reason that I want to pursue these challenges is to try and like make up for that. Maybe. So yeah. And then when he eventually passed away, I remember it clear as day. I was in school I can't remember what lesson. I think it was geography, but it was definitely the humanities block. And teacher walks in, or one of the receptionists, she was like, "Oh, Jack, you need to come with me." And I was like, "Do I need to take my bags?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, that knew sort of then what it was. So I was like, obviously grabbed my bags. The receptionist didn't really say anything to me. Not that I wanted to talk to her anyway. Stepdad picked me up, and I remember in the car, and I could see he'd been really crying. And he was like, "Obviously, I've picked you up." And I went, "Yeah." I just drove me home, and then saw my mum and my grandma, and that was like, that's really sad,
Yeah.
seeing your mum. And then my dad started crying again. Stepdad started crying, and yeah, it's just like really sad. And like I said, I don't sit here now like stricken with grief, because a lot of time has passed. But it's as you get older now, you just realize like how unfair life can be sometimes. Um, so yeah, that's what happened to my granddad from like point of
Mm.
diagnosis to when he unfortunately passed away.
I'm still listening to you speak and thinking about the work that we do. I wish we'd been there to help at that time. I think,
Yeah,
the charity had
no, don't
probably just started,
yeah, just
um, just up the road, off the back of my sister's
but
diagnosis.
that's part of the. I don't, was it you or was it Helen said something to, or it might, yeah, that was it, or it might have been Pete. Anyway, said something to me, and this was quite interesting. So, brainstrust is a smaller charity, and what was said was basically the money's great. The money allows us to help more, deliver more effect. It's fantastic. But something that's almost unquantifiable, and what's even better, is the exposure. Because as a small charity, you can't spend 50, 100, 150 grand on a marketing campaign. So more people know to reach out, email the
Oh, Jack,
website.
yeah. It
It,
hurt. The thing that hurts the most is when someone says, "I wish I'd found you sooner."
yeah,
And genuinely, because we're here, we
yeah,
wanna help, we can help, and there's just so many people that are navigating what you went through, what your grandmother went through, what
yeah,
your mother went through, without support that can make it easier.
yeah,
And it's not what we do is not difficult. It can be complicated,
mm,
but it's fairly straightforward conversations based on coaching principles that just focus your mind on, you talk about getting the most out of the time or solving the non-clinical
yeah,
challenges, the practical stuff,
yeah,
where there's no one else to help. It's
mm,
that guidance gap. Um, yes, so that awareness, as well as the fundraising, is absolutely vital because it's the day. I'll be happy the day. Well, we won't rest, until we stop hearing that phrase that people have wished they'd found us sooner.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I just wish we could have been there for you at that time of crisis 20 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
That was day one for Brains Trust, and
yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
was, yeah,
Um, Thank you so much for sharing
yeah.
that
It's fine.
so openly. But I think what incredible motivation for the challenge you're about to take on.
Mm.
So moving on, you land back into was land arrive
Arrive,
plod
plod, yeah,
sprint.
yeah.
What's the
Sprint,
sprint
bosh,
back into
yeah,
Trafalgar Square, May 2027.
yeah.
What does success look like for you? You've reached the finish line, but what would it mean?
I mean, what does success look like for me? Firstly, making it back to Trafalgar Square in one piece, not
Yeah.
kidnapped somewhere in the stands. So, but secondly, just to have raised a huge amount of money for Brains Trust in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. If we can get to 1 million, that would be absolutely
It would
insane.
be awesome.
Yeah. It'd be crazy. So yeah, if we can raise a big chunk of money, um, uh, I would be over the moon, and that's why I'm so keen to just if anyone can spare any bit of cash or any companies watching, you don't want Rachel Reeves to get her mitts on it, write it off the tax bill, get it to Brains Trust. So yeah, it'd be incredible, and I'm just so thankful that people have gotten behind me and this cause in the past.
They have.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if they can do it again, I'll be absolutely chuffed. So yeah, if we can raise hundreds of thousands and maybe a cheeky million as well, would be awesome.
If this conversation has meant anything to you, if Jack's mission has inspired or motivated you, if you're interested or enthused in Brains Trust work, please consider making a donation. Every little helps. You can donate via the link below. And if you're a brand or a business that wants to get involved, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to Brains Trust directly, brainstrust.org.uk. All our details are there, all down below. And Jack sets off in July. There's still time to get involved, and we'd love you to come with us.